Hi everybody and welcome to the video. I'll be showing you how to make a game ready asset in Blender and Marmoset Toolbag 4. Let's take a look at the handle next, and in preparation for that I copied the handle object, the low version of course, that's that one there that I made previously. I copied that and then renamed it to high. Let's turn off the wireframe. So yeah, it's the same thing, exactly the same as the low, done nothing to that at the moment. Okay, let's hide the blade high as well. And I've also actually just set the origin to geometry as well, just to make it a bit more sensible. So there's our high version. And I think I've also realized something, that we need to separate these parts really, because at the moment I've got a metal part there at the front and this part at the back. And of course, if I go into sculpt mode, that's going to be much more difficult to sculpt as separate pieces, of course. So I think what I'm going to do first is, we could actually just delete that for now. Let's bring back our handle low. Let's make a backup copy and put that into backups. Let's separate these into separate parts. So that'd be quite easy to do. So we can select face selection mode. And I'm going to select these four there. And then hold down Control and press plus on the numpad. Select those and continue pressing until we get to that point there. So Control plus on the numpad. Like that. We could actually add that to that as well, but let's leave it separate for now. So we press, with that selected, let's press P, separate by selection, and now we've got that part there as well. We can put these back together afterwards, just keep it like that for now. So let's go back into edit mode on here, and hovering over this part here, I'm going to press the L key. That will select everything as per the seams, but we don't have any seams, so let's change that to sharp. Because we have sharp edges, that will then continue if I keep pressing L to do that. So with that selected again, press P, separate by selection. What the heck, let's just rename that to 1 and 2. So let's patch this up now. Let's isolate that with the question mark key or / key. Now we need to is it non-manifold? I always forget, a closed model object. So I'm simply going to go into edit mode, edge select, alt and click that edge loop there and head up to face and grid fill. And that looks pretty bad. So let's just increase the span here until we get something that's connecting all of them, which is there at 6. And if I offset it, we can have it going vertically as well. That's pretty good. So that's nice. Let's do the same on this side. So Alt and then click that, go to face, grid fill. For some reason it's gone to 11 now, but fair enough. What if we rotate it? No. Let's put this back down to, should probably be 6, wouldn't it? And then, there we go. Now we've got a nice grid fill there as well. That's a closed object now, which is really cool. Let's go back to object mode. So there's our handle low, and that's bugging me now. I need to put part 2 there, and part 1 there. I want to call that low as well, just so I don't get confused. These are our base parts, right? So let's bring back the other parts now and select this one and then isolate that as well, like so. And we're going to do the same thing here. So edge mode, hold down Alt, select, face, grid fill. And once more, that was probably 6, I think. No, I don't know, whatever it was. Let's just do that. until we get that aligned nicely like that. Cool. Let's come out of isolation mode and select this part now. Same process. Boom. Grid fill. Let's type in 6 there and 5 there to start off with. And that's it. Yep, that's pretty good. So we're done with that. Let's come out of isolation mode. So now we've got all these separate objects. I'll just have a look at that. Yep, that's fine. So with that done, we can actually start creating the high poly versions of these, and then we can merge them back in later on as one piece. Hopefully. Haven't tried it yet, so you're going to learn and watch with me. What could possibly go wrong, eh? Right? Anyway, Shift D, copy that. Let's call that high. Let's hide the other parts for now. Let's save our work there. So with this one now done, we need to add a... We currently have a smooth by angle modifier on there. Let's take that off. Don't think we need it. And we're going to add a subdivision surface of maybe 2 levels. Let's turn off optimal display. And we have that, which is a really nice result actually. Nice and clean. That's what you want. Looking really good. So I'm just going to go with that for now. And we could up it to 3. And that's still okay. But I'm going to keep it at 2 and apply that. Just wondering whether I should have smoothed that out first. Just undo that for a second and disable that. So what's going to happen is when you add this on, obviously it's going to smooth that out. If I switch over to the front view, and we keep an eye on this part here. Yeah, you can see it's quite an aggressive smoothness. So what I'm going to do is add a loop cut. Let's turn off the wireframe. Add a loop cut here. So Control R. We don't want it to be like having different gaps from top to bottom. We want it to be even. So you can press the E key for even, and that will even it out this side. But if I press F to flip it, that will then even it out on this side. So I'm just going to put this somewhere here, like that. And this time we're going to increase the mean crease to 1 there. So that becomes like a reddish color, reddish pink. And on this side, let's select these faces. Control numpad plus to grow the selection. And with that selected, I'm going to press the I key to inset that. Like that. Now we just want the boundary loop outside there. So we can click and select these. A bit hard to see sometimes, but I think we've got everything. There we go, we've got that there. So with that, again, mean crease set to 1. So now if we switch back to the front view, and we add the, or enable, it is enabled actually. We are getting a little bit of a line there, but maybe that's because of my cavity settings. No, that is actually, oh, we still got the hard edges. Let's clear those. Let's select all of those. Select A, press A to select everything. In edge mode this is, and clear sharp. And if we go back now, that's a lot smoother. So you can see that's a lot nicer now. We can just do that again. Yeah, you can see it's much tighter. So let's do the same on this side. A little bit, not too much actually. Maybe we can just select that one there. Actually, you know what? I think that's going to be okay if we turn that on, which it is. Yeah, I think that's fine. So let's save that. And once again, I'm going to make a backup copy. Drop that into backups. And let's head over to sculpting and see what we can do. Keep this really simple, this one actually, not like the blade. Because a lot of the work we can do in Marmoset Toolbag or in Blender with the material. So I'm not going to go crazy here. So I'm going to use the Orb brushes again that we've installed already. Again, just to remind you, these are free. You can download them in the video description is the link. If not, search for Orb Brushes Blender, and I'm sure you'll find these. So, is this working? Yes, it is. But obviously our strength is way down. But you can just see that's actually working, right? But not very well. So we need to remesh this. I'm not going to be using any of these brushes because they're not really made for wood. However, under draw, there is this really nice orb brush here, which might be useful. We can try to use that. It's basically called a curve brush or something. Let's turn on front faces only, again, of course. And if we stroke over that now, you can see it does that, but not very well. We've also got stabilized stroke on. So, let's remesh this, and this should hopefully be working a lot nicer than it is at the moment. So, what you can do, rather than coming up here and picking a value and guessing, first of all, we can like sample from our existing geometry how big the voxel size is there relative to the object we have already. And that's point. Did I apply the oh, I didn't apply it. That's why I was wondering why it was so low. Let's apply that. And now that should work. Yeah, that's work a lot better. I was wondering why that was a bit odd. Don't do what I do, guys. I make mistakes. So yeah, let's sample that again now. And we've got a value of 0.01. If you want to visualize that, obviously you can turn the wireframe on, right? Which is like this, right? But what we can also do is, rather than clicking up here and doing remesh and putting a value in, we can press the R key, and that will bring up this grid. And as we move my mouse left and right, that increases or decreases the voxel size. So hold down Shift to get finer control, and I'm going to watch the grid and see what value, how fine we want to go. And I think about 0.4 something, 0.48 thereabouts. Now, just by clicking, that hasn't actually remeshed this. Now you have, that's the first step. The second step is, after you've done that with the R key, you need to press Ctrl R, which I've just done. And if I turn on the overlays now with the wireframe, you can see that's remeshed it to that size. Okay. Let's save our work. And if I draw over this now, you get obviously a much more, looks a bit weird there, but you get a much finer mesh to work with. Let's increase this input samples to 8 like we did before, and see if that makes this a little bit smoother. Arguably, let's try 20. I mean, it's getting there, but it's not. Let's keep increasing that. I think the problem is that, let's put this back to 8 actually. I think the problem is that it's too strong. The strength is too much. Let's put it down to 0.2. And just for testing now, we're going to drag. You can see that works a lot nicer now. Right? That's really cool. I think the strength is probably a bit too much still. You can see it's chipping in there quite a lot. And we don't want that much strength. Let's put it down to 0.1. And let's press F to reduce our brush size. Something like that. And let's just see what happens if we drag across that now. Perhaps too much subtle there. Too subtle. 0.125. Let's increase that by 25%. I think that's okay. Perhaps a touch more. 0.135. Yeah, let's go with that. So the trick is really, I want these to be I want these to be thin at the beginning and then thin at the end. But because I'm not using a graphics tablet, that's not going to happen. And I should also note that at the top here, I've got it set to minus. Yeah, direction is subtract, not positive. So it actually goes inwards and not outwards. Let's put that back to negative. And let's try and make a very basic bit of detail here. Nothing too crazy, just a little bit. And we can try to actually, for example, if we do, let's go to the front view, and if I just do a stroke, like here, like this. Maybe I shouldn't have stopped there, but you get the idea. Now, we want this to be thinner here, so perhaps we can use the pinch tool. Let's press F to make our brush bigger. And the strength is quite high there, so let's bring that down. Let's go with 0.2 and see how that works. Make the brush a little bit bigger. And if I drag this now, you can see that's actually having an effect where it's getting thinner. So just keep doing that, and there we go. That's kind of the result that we wanted. Perhaps a little bit more. Let's increase the strength to 0.35 and just drag that along like that. And did I turn on front faces only? Yes, I did. It is on. Let's do the same on this part here. So F to make the brush a little bit larger, and just close that down. Just keep stroking over that like that, and it will gradually make that as smaller as it can. And hold down the Shift key to smooth that out. Perhaps a little bit, like that. That's a good start. I think we'll keep doing that. I'll put a few of these in the handle, and that should be all we need, because a lot of the work will be done, as I say, in texturing, either in Blender and or Marmoset Toolbag, or Substance Painter, if you wish. So I'm going to go back to, where was it, Draw. There's our curve. Front faces is checked. Let's do a few more of these lines now. So just randomly. That's obviously a lot bigger than before because we increased our brush size. So I'm going to try and get it at a slight angle here. Maybe I should put that in orthographic so it doesn't distort as much. So like that. Yeah, and that will do, I think. We can probably do a bit more with the strength actually. 0.175. So I'm not going to do that again. I'm just going to pinch that, increase the brush size, and just pinch that closed a bit more, like that. And then Shift to smooth it out a little bit. This we won't really see, but I'll do it anyway. And then smooth that out a little bit again. So we'll continue doing that with a few more. Then I'll do a jump cut because you don't want to sit here and watch me do this dozens of times. But let's do one over here. Should be quite nice. So the strokes I'm actually making, you notice I'm extending all the way over here. And when I go back, I don't go all the way back there again. I'm kind of going down a little bit like that. It's almost like bouncing back to that place. Hold down Shift to smooth that out. Pinch a bit more. And pinch that area there. So we've got a bit of variation in the width of that grain going through there like that. I like that result. That looks good. Let's do this bit here as well. I think that looks right. I quite like it. Let's smooth that out a touch. So guys, I'm going to do a jump cut. I'm going to continue doing this, and I'll see you back in a second or two. All done. And this would have been, as I say, a lot better if I had a graphics tablet. So it's a little bit janky in places, but lots of smoothing, lots of pinching going on there. And that's pretty much it, really. So I think that looks pretty good. And we probably won't notice any minor defects here and there once we've actually textured this. So let's head over back to our layout, bring back our blade high, and we have that so far. I think you'll agree it's looking not too shabby, I hope. So we now have our other parts there to finish off. Now this would be really easy to do, so we'll continue that in just a second. So like before, we're going to start, we need to create higher res versions of these as well. So let's copy that part there, and I'm going to call that high. Part 1. Let's hide the low parts there. And let's focus on this one here. So I'm just going to save that. Of course, there's pivot points over here. Let's set the origin to geometry, why not? Let's do the same for the lower end part as well. Just make sure they're consistent. And now that we have that, I'm going to tab into edit mode, select all of the vertices, edges by pressing A, right click and clear sharp. Back to object mode. Let's get rid of the smooth by angle and shade smooth. And let's add a subdivision surface. I'll bring that back, we can see what's happening here. So there's our subdiv modifier on there. Let's increase that up to 2. And let's just go to this front view and keep an eye on what's happening here again. Yeah, quite aggressive. So we need to add a bit more of the supporting loops. So let's do that. This is not the best way to do this, to be fair. So, but I think I'm just going to keep this chamfer. So what I'm going to do is, first of all, let's select these faces. So face select these 4, hold down Control, and then plus on the numpad. And let's just create an inset there. Just a smidge like that. And can we do select boundary? It's somewhere here. Boundary loop. Perfect. Right. So that one, we're going to add a mean crease of 1. And then I'm going to add a loop cut just there. Somewhere like that is okay, I think. And add a mean crease of 1 there. And then select this edge loop here and here. Control B. And scroll my mouse wheel to get 2 segments. And I think something there. Shape of 1. Give it those support loops. And we can select this one and this one we've just added. And add a mean crease of 1 again. But before I go off, we need to actually do the same on this side. So let's just select these faces. In fact, that's already got the inset, hasn't it? But of course, you need to put one there, don't we? Yeah. So let's add an inset. Let's do that. Back to edge select, and then select menu, loops, boundary loop, mean crease of 1, and Control R. Add a loop cut there, mean crease of 1. Let's just check the other side. Oops. That's close enough. Doesn't really matter at this point. So with that done, we should now, oops, we need to assign these as mean creases as well. That's it. So now when we add the subdiv modifier, enable it again, you can see it retains the corners much better, because we want to retain that chamfer essentially. You can see that looks pretty clean. So we're going to use that as our basis for the high poly version. It's going to save that, and as usual, Shift D and bring that into our backups collection. So let's head over to our sculpting, and of course that does work, as you can see, but we don't have the geometry to work with. So I'm going to press R for resolution, drag my mouse and give that a resolution of about, let's go 0.00003, and then Control R to commit that. Oh, it's thinking about it. Was that too many? No. Yes. So I didn't apply the, once again, I didn't apply the subdiv modifier. Let's do that again. So R, 0.3003, whatever, let's click and then Control R to apply that, which it has done there, you can see that. It's a little bit coarse, so let's try Sculpt Smooth, and again, click and drag. Oh wow, you can see that's a big difference now. Yeah, in fact, so much so that we've actually lost the definition. So let's just leave it at that for now. And we're going to put in very minor dents in this one, nothing too drastic. Again, I won't use these, the ones that I purchased up here, because that wouldn't be fair. I'm going to continue to use the orb brushes that you can download for free. So here we've got hammered metal. I'm not sure if I should use that. Let's have a look and see what we've got under clay strips. Okay, we can probably use some of these little dents like we did before. So front faces only is on, and that should be okay as it is. So we should be able to just do that now, like that. Probably turn the strength up a little bit. It's not quite behaving. Actually, it's not too bad. Yeah, I think that's okay. Let's do one over here. But you wouldn't get one here because the wood's going to be there, isn't it? So it wouldn't really be able to take a dent like that there. So it's probably going to be more like this, away from the edge. So let's just do that. Just want to keep it as random as I can. I'm not going completely overboard. So I think that's enough for that one. Let's put a few marks in there as well. So we can use this one again, but instead of actually being positive, we can use the negative subtract. So we get basically dents in like that. I think that strength is okay. Let's have a look. Yeah, that seems to be okay. So back to front view, the wood's going to be on this side, as per our sketch there. So most of the impact will be around the front and the top and the bottom. So ignoring that part there, really, apart from a few bits maybe like there, because there is going to be a little bit of this part being shown. So maybe we can have some dents in that area. Let's just do that quickly there, and there as well. All right, let's call that, let's leave it there. I'm quite pleased with that, apart from the initial shading mistake. So that's that part there, which is part one. And now bring part two. Let's bring that in, right click, set origin to geometry. Let's do the same for, that is the low part actually, my apologies, that's the low part. So we're going to copy that and call that part two there, and then high, just like that. And like before, let's first of all save our work, tab into edit mode, select all of the edges and clear sharp. Let's select these edge loops here, and let's try and bevel these as well while we're at it. That works pretty well actually. Let's put 2 segments and bring that in like that. And now we're going to select these edge loops like this and give them a mean crease of 1. That will just help to support the subdivision surface modifier once we add that. So back to where I was, let's add these. So those are our support loops. Let's save that. And now we can add a service. Bring up to 2, turn off optimal display, wireframe on, and now we have that. Got a really nice shaded model. That's looking good, like the other part as well. So I think you know the drill by now. I'm just going to do the same to this as I did to the other part. And welcome back. So that's done. And I've just realised I've forgotten to put a few more dents just there. Let me quickly do that. Right, and there we are. I've added a few more scratches, lines, and minor bits and pieces here and there. So yeah, that's not looking too bad. Perhaps we could have done with a bit more specky things on the wood, perhaps like a chip or something. Might not be a bad idea. Feel free to do that on your own version. And I think I've spent enough time on this to be happy with that, which I am. So I will move on to the next stage. So I'll see you there. Bye for now.